All right, today we are diving into one of the all-time greats, Oscar Wilde's comedic masterpiece, The Importance of Being Earnest. And let me tell you, this play seems all light and fluffy on the surface, but it is hiding a surprisingly sharp edge.
So you have to wonder, right? How does a play that's basically about muffins, handbags, and a made-up guy named Ernest become this timeless piece of social critique? Well, let's get into it, because underneath all that glittering, silly fun lies one of the sharpest satires you'll ever read.
So, picture this. We're in late Victorian London. We meet our main guys, Jack Worthing and Algernon Moncrief. Now, these two are charming gentlemen who are leading these incredibly elaborate double lives. Why? Well, because in the super rigid world of the upper class, they figured out that a little deception is the only way to have any real fun.
Okay, so let's talk about the art of their deception. Because, really, it's the engine that drives this entire plot. For Algernon, this isn't just about telling a few white lies. Oh, no. He elevates it to a whole personal philosophy.
He actually coins a term for it, bun-burying. Think of it as a system that lets a guy keep up a perfect public image while secretly doing whatever he wants. For Algernon, it's absolutely essential for navigating the, frankly, suffocating demands of high society.
And here's the crucial thing. Both of them are using these made-up people for the exact same reason, to get some personal freedom in a society that offers none. You've got Jack, who pretends to be the super responsible guardian in the country, but then uses his fake troublemaker brother Ernest as an excuse to live it up in the city. Meanwhile, Algernon uses his perpetually sick friend Bunbury to dodge all the boring dinners with his relatives.
And this quote from Algernon, it's just perfect. It gets right to the heart of what Wilde is saying. He's basically suggesting that this kind of deception isn't a moral failing at all. It's actually a creative, maybe even a necessary act. In a world totally obsessed with appearances, inventing a more interesting reality is the ultimate form of art.
So how does this whole brilliant setup become a weapon? Well, Wilde uses it to go after his real target, the Victorian elite. And here's the real joke. Their lives are so idle and focused on such trivial nonsense that these incredibly elaborate deceptions barely even get noticed. And if you need one character to perfectly capture this world, look no further than the play's most formidable character, Lady Bracknell. Seriously, don't even think of her as a person. She's more like a walking, talking institution of social snobbery.
I mean, this line is legendary for a reason. Her worldview is so ridiculously obsessed with class that Jack's tragic backstory isn't a misfortune, it's just socially sloppy. To her, being an orphan isn't sad, it's a character flaw. It's just unbelievable. You really see this in action when she interviews Jack as a potential husband for her daughter. It's not a conversation about love, it's a ruthless financial and social audit. She goes down a checklist, and Jack's mysterious origins? Yeah, that's an immediate hard fail.
And this is how brilliant Wilde is. He even turns something as ordinary as food into a weapon. When Gwendolen and Cecily think they're rivals for the same man, their polite little tea party instantly becomes a passive-aggressive battlefield. The fight isn't really about tea and cake, of course. It's about pure social warfare, all hidden behind a mask of perfect manners.
Okay, so all of this deception, all this social commentary, it all comes together in the play's greatest trick, the massive secret that's been hiding in plain sight, right there in the title. See, the entire title is this huge, brilliant pun. It's a play on the difference between being a man named Ernest and having the quality of being earnest. Gwendolen and Cecily are totally obsessed with the name, a completely superficial label. But earnestness, that prized Victorian virtue of sincerity and seriousness, it's the one thing that every single character in this play is actively trying to avoid.
And that, right there, is the punchline of the whole play. Wilde is flipping Victorian values completely on their head. He's arguing that life shouldn't be lived earnestly, but artfully. This play is basically a giant celebration of style, wit, and pleasure over boring, stuffy conformity. In the very last line of the play, it's the final perfect wink at the audience. Jack's success doesn't come because he's become sincere or moral. No, it comes from the absurd, random luck of finding out his name actually is Ernest after all. He hasn't learned a moral lesson. He's just stumbled into the right name at the right time.
This is exactly why Wilde called it a trivial comedy for serious people.
His genius wasn't using this seemingly frivolous, nonsensical story to take down a society that was obsessed with surfaces over substance. He's mocking the seriousness of the Victorian era by showing that it's the most trivial thing of all.
Which, it leaves us with a question that makes this century-old play feel so incredibly relevant today. The names and the social rituals might have changed, sure, but our modern obsession with surfaces, with appearances, maybe that hasn't changed quite so much after all.